Women are complaining about men not coming up to them and approaching them in public. This is very, very common.
There's a really interesting trend at the moment of very attractive women complaining that men are no longer approaching them.
That's right.
And I find this absolutely fascinating. So, when I was a young man...
It's fascinating, but not surprising.
I only plucked up the courage to actually just walk up to a random woman on the street once because she was really attractive and say, hey, would you like to go out? She turned me down, right? Every other time I've got girlfriends or women who have been interested in me,
That's what
they've
happens.
basically come to me and sort of signaled to me that they're interested. And so, frankly, I've never been the sort of like, walk up to a girl and just start chatting her up type.
Absolutely same. 100% same. Completely agree.
But that
Same personality.
Most of the time, women will signal when they are interested in you. And
They will.
If you're interested back, you can pick it up and go from there.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that there is at least a certain kind of woman who enjoys the attention, right? Who likes to know that actually she is an attractive woman and she's flattered by men making the effort and, well, as this woman says, catcalling her. Let's listen.
Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever.
I wonder why.
Oh my god, like please. I'll take a fucking construction worker catcall at this point.
Here's the thing, is if I was doing that to her, she'd be calling the police. Women don't actually want this. They only want it from guys that they find attractive or they like. This is a massive fucking thing that a lot of people don't talk about. Is that the reason, like, women don't have a problem with guys approaching them in general, as long as they do it respectfully. But I think another big difference is appearance. If you are a weird looking or an ugly looking guy, you going up to a girl is totally different than if it's somebody who is attractive. And so a lot of these girls say that they want this, but if it's some weird looking guy coming up to them, they're going to be very uncomfortable and they're going to complain about it on social media. That's what happens. It's, flirting versus harassment. Exactly.
So, now there are many people who are saying, well, and this is another video of the woman in the orange dress here. Again, very attractive women and men are just not approaching them.
Yeah.
And they're becoming frustrated by it. And as Con here points out, many women, not all of them, spent the majority of the 2010s bitching about rape culture and misogyny and catcalling and Me Too, and now mad that young men aren't comfortable approaching them.
No, it's again, if young men they are mad that young men that they are attracted to are not approaching them. If weird, ugly guys started approaching them, they would be posting about how annoying it is publicly all the time. The same as they did back then.
You create the problem.
This is totally...
I don't think it's just young men, although I think the age thing is an interesting question. Because, I mean, this woman looks like she's in her early 20s, and, well, do men in their early 20s actually spend a lot of time dating anyway? It seems that a lot of Gen Z are quite shy, introverted, not great at approaching one another, and, I mean, not entirely their fault. Probably.
Me Too ruined everything? No, Me Too didn't have anything to do with this. This was happening way before Me Too. Me Too was like a COVID era thing. This has been going on ever since like 2013, 2014.
Probably a lot due to social media and the internet and the fact that they've got phones, so they don't have to actually go up and personally involve themselves. And they seem to have been losing the customs on how to show someone that they're interested.
Here's the reason why that happens. In the earlier days, many years ago, there was much more of a shared cultural identity that we had here in the US, or that I'm sure was over in the UK or in other countries, but particularly in the United States. There was a shared cultural identity that most people subscribed to. So whenever you went to approach someone or you went to talk to someone, your behavior would probably be inside of that cultural expectation. But I think what the internet and multiculturalism has done, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, it's just what's happened, is it's segmented different cultures and different groups of people with different expectations. There are women that like guys that when she tells them no, he keeps trying to pursue her because it makes her feel special. There are women that like that. Most women don't like that. And my advice to you is to assume that they don't like that, because I think it's weird. You know, again, like they like that, but that's how it is. They want it. Yes, exactly. But no means no. Exactly. And so do you know if are you approaching a girl that is a no means no girl, or are you approaching a girl that is a, ask me 3 times to make sure that you really actually care about me girl? You see what I'm saying? And there's no way to really tell that really at all. And so you have this dilution of culture. And so there's no shared set of rules of engagement anymore. And so nobody knows how to approach this and how not to approach this. There will be guys that will be very respectful, and then girls will still post their DMs and be like, hey, look at this guy, what a thirsty boy. How to solve it? I don't think that you can really.
It isn't embarrassing or humiliating in some way. And
by the way, the girls that do that post the DMs from guys, the reason they're doing that is to feed their own ego. They're doing that so they can say, look at this popular person that was interested in me, but I'm too good for them. There's not really any other reason besides that. Yeah, it's their ego tripping. It's validation.
That protects the dignity of both people involved. And I don't blame them. I mean, these are things that I think generally haven't been well passed down.
Yeah.
I remember my dad telling me you've just got to go and ask.
Yeah.
And the worst she can say is no. I mean, that's not true. The worst she can do is laugh at you. But
or post your interaction on social media and embarrass you publicly. Or if it's at work, get you fired for sexual harassment. Or, fucking ostracized. There's a lot of things that they can do that are worse than saying no.
Hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine that happens, and it's absolutely harrowing. But at the end of the day, as a man, it's tough, and you will get over it. It's not the end of the world. But the times that it does work, then when you think, okay, that woman actually seemed to quite like me, and I'm going to go up and ask her out, it's actually really gratifying, and you feel like you've accomplished something. I said I only done once, but now I'm thinking about it. I have actually done it a few more times than that. It was only once that I walked past this woman, and I was just like, wow, she's really attractive. And I was single at the time. Yeah. And walked up to her. But other times where it's,
I have nenever done that.
I had a date with a girl who sold internet. She was, one of the women on the street, people on the street who were trying to sell broadband.
Same.
Whatever. Yeah. Like 15, 20 years ago. I can't remember how long now.
We know.
And I didn't want it, but I ended up getting it because she was really cute. And I asked her on a date, and she was like, yeah, okay, great. It didn't go anywhere, but it was no big deal. But I ended up with that broadband for a goddamn year. But the point is, when
it is what it is, brother. Yep.
When you do it and it goes quite well, then okay, great, But anyway, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is there's definitely an atmosphere that was created by the feminism of the 2010s, and this, I think, genuinely
Well, I don't think we're past it either. Like, I see on a weekly basis, even now, women exposing DMs from men all the time. This happens constantly. I mean, you guys have seen this too, right? Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only person that's seen this. This is quite common.
Has had effects. I mean, Me Too, the hysteria about catcalling and misogyny and rape culture and all that sort of stuff. You can say thanks to Anita Sarkeesian, who herself had probably been catcalled.
Fitness videos,
She's not hideous.
Fitness creep videos, stuff like that, definitely.
But who had to marry herself, incidentally. And now these women are feeling the effects of it. That's definitely an issue. And there are lots of women all over the place. It's not just like the old TikTok video. like this one here, I'm wondering if guys still approach women they don't know but are attracted to. Or this basically never happens anymore.
Nope.
I, as a woman, don't get approached while walking the street in the grocery store, etc. Men seem to like me at work and on dating apps, but the approach thing from strangers just doesn't happen. And what's really funny,
because people have said for years they don't want that. They said they don't want it. I wish we had a code in society. Exactly, right? And even this top comment is saying exactly what I'm saying.
Is they're looking, going through this and being like,
there's no shared cultural expectation.
We need to have some sort of social signal, like dropping a handkerchief, to see if the guy's interested. Mm-hmm. And there was someone in this thread. I was reading through it before I started.
And also, like, again, if a weird looking guy came up to her, she would not like that. I think there's very much a tremendous amount of kind of romanticization of this behavior without actually thinking about its legitimate, like, realistic consequences, where it's like, okay, sure, yeah, you want an attractive, good-looking guy to come up to you and be interested in you, but do you want an ugly, weird-looking guy who's awkward to come up to you? Probably not. So really, the odds are, right, it's going to be probably more ugly, weird-looking guys. So, yeah, that's why they ended up stopping this, and people don't do it anymore. It goes both ways? Well, of course it does.
They're like, yeah, but what if the guy doesn't pick it up? That'd be devastating. Absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't find the thing. But it would. But at least it wouldn't be, like, obvious. At least you could play it off as if, I just dropped that. I didn't mean to drop it. I wasn't trying to signal. But anyway. So, yeah, you've got, like, other videos of women who are just trying to think of ways to get guys to approach them. Because, again, like, I think for a lot of women, it's not necessarily that they are, actually, they want loads of guys to be hitting on them. But what I think it is just for them to feel secure about themselves, and also gives them something interesting to say about the night. Like, it gives them a social status over other women that these two are talking about incidentally. It gives them sort of like, it's a story, right? Mm-hmm. That they can tell their friends and say, yeah, this guy approached me, oh my God, he was this, he was that, whatever.
Yeah.
But also it reassures them. Oh, right, no, I am still actually
it's
attractive.
Validating. Yes.
Because a couple of years ago, I remember doing a video about women when they get older and they start to feel invisible. And it's because, like, when you're a young and attractive woman, you at least know that men notice you.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that for a lot of attractive young women, they feel important. They feel, oh, right, no, I have a place in society, and these guys are looking at me, they're checking me out. Even if they're not approaching me, I'm on their radar, right? They understand that I am a thing that matters in the grand scheme of male-female relationships. And so in society itself, I am sort of put on the map. Mm-hmm. But what these women are really complaining about is, I think, that they feel that they aren't on the map anymore. Right? And this is the same thing that the older women were complaining about. When women get to like their 40s and 50s, and men are no longer just checking them out. They no longer catch men just having a sideward glance.
Sure.
Admiringly. Which, again, the feminists have done a superb job of stigmatizing this. But actually, I think for a lot of women,
well, the reality also is that there are a lot of guys that do it in ways that are bad. And this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily say, but there are guys that don't take no for an answer. There are guys that are creepy. And I think that they do make women uncomfortable in a lot of cases. It's not like this is like, oh, women are just stupid and bad. No, absolutely not. There's a lot of guys that try to put a power play on a girl, right? Take her out on a boat because of the implication, right? That type of stuff. And it makes women very uncomfortable, and it does happen. Now, obviously, like, that's a meme and a joke, but real life variants of that happen all the time. And the truth is that that's the reason why a lot of women are against this stuff and pushed against it back in the 2010s, is because a lot of it came with a degree of coercion, or it came with a implied physical, threat, like maybe not even necessarily threat, but unsafeness.
And just a quick tangent on this. Think about the kind of women who are feminists. very rarely the attractive ones, right? Very rarely the ones who are getting catcalled. So in a way, feminism was kind of like a negative mating strategy.
Yeah.
And they've ruined it for the decent-looking women. And you can thank your sisters on that one. They were fighting for your rights, not to feel flattered when you're walking.
From my experience of talking to girls that I would say are above average attractiveness, I would say that the majority of them do not appreciate having people come up to them in public and try to approach them. I'm sure that there have been experiences that they had that were positive, but if you looked at it as like, is it a net value of a positive or a negative? I would say it is a negative net value.
Around at night in your best clothes, looking as gorgeous as you can. Like, your sisters have done this for you. But it's, I think they're entering the same status as women who grow older. And so, you know, when women get to like their 50s and men are no longer, like, they're no longer a presence on the radar. They're no longer, oh, maybe she's a, you know, maybe she'd be interested or something like that. That no longer happens because men just aren't thinking, okay, I want a 50-year-old woman.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up a 50-year-old woman.
Well, it's guys aren't attracted to older women, like in a general sense. Like, everybody knows this. It's like one of those things like, oh, you're not supposed to say this. Yeah, that's obviously the reason why. Everybody knows it.
So it's one of those things that the older invisible women who didn't get married and don't have kids and don't have families, this is one of the things that, by the way, ladies, you're going to want to get married and have kids so you don't turn into one of these invisible women. It will happen to you too.
Yeah, of course.
Because this is the nature of what the manosphere uncharitably but fairly calls the wall. When you reach the menopause, frankly, you stop being a viable mate.
It's not a year, right? There's some chicks that look really attractive and they're like 50 or 60. And there's other chicks that stop looking attractive when they're 27. It's genetics, the way that you take care of yourself, skincare routine, drug patterns, everything like that. So there's a lot of examples of both of them. And like, we all know those examples, right? Of course, right? Everybody's giving out names or whatever. And you know, women that kind of like immediately, like, you know, they hit the wall at 25. Yeah, this definitely happens too. For sure it does. But at the same time, yeah, of course, like, I mean, and I think that for guys, this is true too, by the way. Like, people like to create this false dichotomy where, like, women age really badly and men don't. I think that that's not really true. There aren't really a lot of, like, 23-year-old attractive women that are hoping that a 45-year-old guy is going to try to talk to them. They're not going out there looking for that. And many of them think that's creepy too themselves. Like, this is a fantasy that I think guys tell themselves as a coping mechanism.
Evolutionary terms.
And also, like, by the way, it's more true for guys, but it's not true for guys. Like, for women, it's totally not true. And for men, it's, like, usually not true. And also the reason why a lot of women are doing that, it's for something that is external from the guy itself. It's like his position of influence, money, or something that's similar to that. Some sort of external thing that's not necessarily intrinsically him. But yeah, no, guys approach and they have the same thing.
And then that just means that men just...
False young women love older men. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think that's generally true. I think that younger women will make exceptions for older men way more often than younger men make exceptions for younger women. Or, sorry, older women. But I think in general, those younger women that are attractive are looking for men that are around their age. That's the truth. That's primarily what they're looking for.
Don't generally tend to check you out. And younger women, it seems, are actually encountering this firsthand. And so they're strategizing, what can we actually do to not be invisible? Because, you know, we're still potential mates.
People say you're so wrong. It's a lot of guys coping. Tons of guys coping. Guys coping like crazy. Going crazy coping.
What can be done? I mean, this is a fascinating video. This is absolutely fascinating. Let's watch this.
The dating scene is getting so bad in New York City that I am seeing...
And someone says real quick, I'll address one more. Just because you're a goblin, bro. Young women love attractive, successful older men. Do you know what they love even more than that? Attractive, successful younger men that are around their same age. It has nothing to do with me. It's not about the guy being older. It's about him being successful and having money. Being older is just simply a negative outcome that they are willing to tolerate. You're looking at it from the totally, like you're looking at like on a priority list, there are women that are like this, you know, it's influence, power, and appearance, right? Like obviously, or money, influence, money, and appearance. Just because that's number 3 doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. It just means that the other 2 overrule it. Like, I mean, really, like, I don't understand, like, yeah, women like daddies, some do, some don't, right? I mean, that's all, there's always going to be, like, weird sexual things like that. Yeah, they're going to like a guy that's around their age that's also attractive and successful, too, more than they're going to like a guy. Like, all other things being equal, I think women in general will choose a guy that's 5 years older than them much more often than choosing a guy that's 15 years older than them. And I'm talking about, by the way, whenever I'm talking about these age differences, I'm talking about like 10 plus years. So like, I'm not talking about like, oh, 3 years older. Like that's not an older guy. I'm talking about 15 years older, 10 years older, 20 years older. No, they would pick the younger guy if all other things were the same.
Being on TikTok, there are girls going into Midtown during the week and stealing Finance Bros salads for lunch.
What?
And then looking their name up from the salad order on LinkedIn and...
See, that's got nothing to do... This is what I'm saying. Why are they... Why would it be finance? What... Of all the... What would it possibly be because of finance? I don't know. It's a mystery. And they're not doing that because of their age, are they?
And messaging them through there and being like, hey, oh my god, so sorry, I grabbed your salad, like, let me just make it up to you and buy you a new one. And that's how they're, like, sliding it, which, honestly, smart. Why are we stealing men's salads? Like, that's... Why can't they just come up to us at a bar? Like, why is it getting to this point? Men, just please step up, or your salad's gonna fucking get taken. Your lunch is gonna get taken every week. Like, I'm seeing girls get so creative these days. Like, they're making bracelets with their phone numbers on them and giving them to you guys at the bars. They are taking pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my god, making it their phone screen, and being like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends so you can see that your picture is their home screen. All just different.
If I did that to a girl, the police would be called. Yep, the police would be arrived, and I would, I would be removed from the facility. That's a sociopath? No, I mean, like, listen, it's not done with ill intent. But what I'm saying is that the person doing it and the messenger matters more than the message. Except for extremes of like doing something really creepy or doing something very romantic and very nice, the messenger matters more than the message. That's it.
Ways to try to talk to you guys because you guys don't come up to us in New York City, and it's crazy.
Okay, some of that was weird. If I talked to a woman and she had my picture as her phone screen, I'd be like, what the hell's happening, man? Is this like some sort of weird, creepy Truman Show thing? But there we go. I mean, that is clever and creative. Oh, I took your salad by accident, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's cute.
But this is what I mean. Like, women will signal that they're interested, but I guess if they're not getting approached at all, well, this is actually becoming a problem.
And it's also, and here's another thing, it's that, have you ever had a time where a girl did something that made you think that she was interested, but then whenever you acted on it, she was like caught off guard and it was like off-putting to her because she wasn't interested? And that's what I was saying before about there not being any shared culture. Because there's not a shared culture, there is no line and rules of engagement. Yeah, I don't want to get accused of rape later on. Well, that's way too far, right? That's way, way, way too far.
Problem for them, isn't it? Again, there are loads of videos of very attractive women who are just like, why can't I get a man? And one can't help but feel that it might be a sort of confluence. I think technology definitely has a role to play in this, and the kind of unwinding of society and the shared social customs and traditions that instructed men and women on how...
Yeah, don't take a friendly gesture as forwarding, it's just friendliness. Yeah, exactly. And that's generally the case, right? Is that like... And also, I mean, in the other issue for this is that the consequence of being wrong is not worth the possibility of being right.
Exactly, to actually meet one another. I think that is genuinely a thing that's happened, although obviously can't quantify it in any way. But I also do think it's the feminism. I do think that like a lot of men feel like they were essentially kind of beaten out of ever approaching women, and they're like, Jesus Christ.
It's not even feminism. It's no. I don't think it's that complicated. If you are a guy and you see a girl and you're attracted to her and you want to have a relationship with this person, why would you want to begin your relationship and interaction with a person that you would potentially care about and date? Why would you do something that would make her uncomfortable? It doesn't even make sense. It's like if there are so many women that say, oh, I don't like this, don't do this, why would you go up and do something that makes a person feel uncomfortable? I wouldn't do that at all. Yeah, it's being considerate. Yeah, exactly.
Come across as like some insane creep or anything. But Lisa Britton here makes a good point. There's a trend of women asking, well, what's wrong with men? Maybe they're asking the wrong question. And someone replies, well, they should hang out in the forest. I'm sure the bears would approach them. Well, touche. But this is something that a lot of men are worried about. They worry about...
Half of single men avoid interacting with women out of fear of being seen as creepy. Absolutely. 100%.
About coming off as creepy. And so it's like, well, there's the whole problem with feminism is that, I mean, there are lots of problems with feminism, but one of the main issues with feminism and why most women are not feminists, right? I remember back in like 2014 or whatever, the feminists were like 80% of women agree with gender equality, and yet only like 10% of women call themselves feminists. Why? And it's because feminism contains within it a dark animus against men as men. They hate men.
Yeah,
and they actually...
it's just a bunch of fucking people that hate men. Like, I mean, and again, if you want equality, there's egalitarianism. There's already a word for that. Like, I think that a lot of modern feminism is the effort to retain privileges while gaining options. It's women want to retain the privilege of having men do certain things for them, but they want to also have the option of being able to be paid the same amount of money or being able to vote or anything else, which I agree with. But I think that if you want to be treated the same, you can't maintain privileges on top of that also.
Actually seek to destroy men. They seek to unseat them from their positions of power and authority because they're men, not because they've done anything wrong. They just are resentful and spiteful against men.
Yeah, of
and
course.
If these women were allowed to control the discourse for a decade, which they were,
unfortunately,
well, unsurprisingly, that does have consequences. That does have a knock-on effect that people go, oh, right, okay. If for some reason this is representative of women, and we all agree that the feminists represent women, well, then things change to, you get a natural and reasonable reaction to what is being broadcast. And so men are like, right, okay, I'm not allowed to approach women anymore. I don't want to come off as some guy out of Mad Men or something. Yeah. Some dinosaur. And so...
Or just make the girl uncomfortable. Why would you want to make somebody that you could potentially be in a relationship with uncomfortable? Like, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Like, regardless of whether this is a friend of mine or a random person, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. So if I know that I'm doing something that would make a person uncomfortable or there's a possibility of it, then I would avoid it.
Men just won't. Even if they see an attractive girl and they think, oh, God, I wish I could. Apparently a lot of them don't. And now the women are beginning to notice this. And a lot of men just have never approached a woman in person. And 70% of men say the number one reasons they don't approach women is fear of rejection. So this is another thing. Like, and this is something that when I was young, women actually, how to say it? There was less need for performative cruelty, right? Because when I was young, there was no social media.
Yeah,
you weren't going to record this, put it up. You weren't going to share it online and get loads of upvotes, likes or whatever. There was no, a girl would tell like 3 or 4 of her friends, her close circle of friends.
Yeah, sure.
And they'd titter and whatever when you walk by. But there was nothing really in being performatively sort of belligerent when rejecting someone. And so, honestly, and I know I'm going to sound like old man here, but when I was younger, I mean, there were plenty of girls that I thought liked me, that I asked out, and that didn't like me. And they were quite...
Yeah.
Quite kind when they said, "Oh no, no, thank you." Right? I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you. And that's rough, but it's not devastating. And within the next day, you just get over it and you carry on with your life. It's just the way.
Jerk off, lay down for an hour. It's like it never happened.
Things go. Sometimes you roll the dice with someone that you either know or work with or whatever, and
simple.
Sometimes you don't get what you want. But I think that now there's a kind of hard edge to it, and I genuinely think it comes from feminism. I genuinely think it comes from a culture of thinking that men are basically oppressive. And
I think these are two different groups of people. I think the problem with your logic is that women don't think with logic or reasoning or even accountability even. I'm not going down that route, right? But what I'm saying is that if you want a world with equality, why are men still always expected to be the ones that approach women? Like, really, I mean, this is odd, and this is kind of like there's another. Again, it's a social privilege. I think that it's easier to be the one that's getting asked out than the one who is having to do the asking out. Like, I mean, again, like, I'm speaking from my perspective. I've never been a woman before. Well, I was for like 3 hours when I did that stream with Emmy and Jessica and fucking Miz. But other than that, I've never been a woman before. So I'm not sure. Hell yeah, it's horrifying. Yeah, exactly, right? And so why is it that they aren't going and talking to guys? Did she get approached? No, I didn't. It was for 3 hours. Yeah, and I luckily didn't leave my room.
Kind of hateful, frankly, and it's a culture that genuinely stigmatized men.
Yeah,
and I can definitely see that as a younger man now, I would definitely say it's scarier as a younger man now to approach a woman. I could see why. I think this is more of an American thing. I get the feeling that over in Britain, it's probably still not that bad. Although I have to say,
I don't know.
I'm just judging from the young men I know in this age bracket that I know, because of course I never approach women. I don't go anywhere or do anything, and with women at all. But
fucking pace.
But I can see why younger men now would feel like it's more worrisome than it was when I was young. But maybe I'm overreacting. Honestly, I want to open this up to you guys in the comments, because honestly, I don't know. And but there's got to be something to it, right? There's got to be something here, because it is weird that you get very beautiful women going, well, where the hell are the men? And the men going, well, look, we're a bit too afraid to approach you. There has to have been some reason for it, and it honestly probably is feminism.
I don't think that that's the main reason, but I think that there's a lot of other reasons too. I think obviously a lot of these women want to get asked out, but they want to get asked out by a guy that's attractive. They don't want to have a weirdo, weird-looking guy come up to them and try to ask them out. That's going to make them uncomfortable, and it is. Well, no, I don't really. That's my opinion, right? I think feminism is like, if you want to look at a pie chart, it's definitely 1 or 2 slices of the pizza, sure, but it's not the entire fucking pizza. That's my point. There's the video. And successful video started off strong. Yeah. You know, I pray for victimization. Yeah, and so this is one thing. I don't know why I'm not subscribed to Stargon's channel, but I agree with that for sure. Why don't men approach me? Hi, get away from me, creep. Yeah, exactly. And it's about, again, it's the fantasy of getting approached by a person who you're attracted to, which is very different than the reality of getting approached by someone who you're not. And so if you're a guy, and a lot of guys have low self-esteem, or they don't think that they look a certain way that they are supposed to look, they have a low or negative self-image. So if you have these guys that think that they're an ugly, weird-looking guy, and oftentimes they're right, then yeah, they're not going to come up to a girl and talk to them at all, because they're going to think that, well, fuck, I'm just going to be... I'm going to be seen as a weirdo, right? You have to become more creepy. Yeah. What some guys don't get is that sometimes a woman says no and he persists anyway. Well, yeah. But there are women that like that, but I would not. Hey. I would never. Do not do that, bro. If a girl wants to play games with you, you are not a PlayStation. Get away from that as fast as you can. It will only get worse. So yeah. And the norm now has been constructed by women, yet they gaslight men to still wonder why it went wrong. Well, I think really that's the primary reason. And even worse is whenever you're handsome and girls get catty over you. Well, I'm not sure about that. But like what I'm saying is that for a lot of guys, I think that they don't want to go up to a girl because, again, like how many times have we seen some popular girl on like OnlyFans post a DM that she gets from some, maybe some athlete that messages her or some other like popular content creator that messages her, and she's like exposing his messages. Like I feel like I see this at least twice a month, right? And so if you're a guy and you see that, I don't want to. Fuck that, bro. Like, absolutely not. I don't want to deal with that shit. That's awful. Yeah, and so I'm not about that at all the time. Yes, of course. Men have their own needs. Yeah, exactly. Female leader. Yeah. Internet's forever. Exactly. And so, the other week we saw 2 or 3 guy streamers have women call them rapists for basically no reason. Like, what? Well, I don't know about that. I have no idea. But in general, it's easy, bro. Passport, bro, and your wife. I don't know if it's any different in other places in the world. I have no idea. But in general, that's kind of what I would assume. And I think also it's, again, the main thing is that women have said for years they don't like being randomly approached by guys. So what a surprise that after spending years saying that you don't like being approached by men stop approaching you. Wow, what a fucking... It's a fucking mystery. How could that possibly happen? So yeah, I answer on the link. Oh geez, yeah, there's definitely that. The problem stems from 3 out of 10 girls just thinking they deserve 10 out of 10 guys, so they reject most guys. Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, again, like rating the appearance and everything like that, that's always like kind of subjective to an extent. But I mean, I think it's subjective and it's not, right? Obviously. But generally, that's how I feel about it. Feminism pushed men to the problem narrative, and now we see that are emboldened and women are just as bad. Not necessarily, right? I have 3 friends that already have or want to find an Asian girlfriend. Jesus Christ. Well, look, I mean, I think that there's plenty of people, like, being a different race doesn't necessarily make you spawn with different attributes, okay? This isn't World of Warcraft, all right? So there are plenty of girls that are Asian that act this way, and plenty of girls that are not Asian that don't act this way. I don't think it's really that true, that case at all. And so, yeah. It kind of does, though. Yeah, I don't think so. It's race. It's not race. It's geography. I think it's also just culture and attitude and personality more than anything. But anyway, yeah, that's generally what I think about it in general. You want your kids to have genetic diversity and they have better family values. I mean, I think, like, look, you marry who you want to marry or not. Look, what the fuck am I talking about that for, right? I have no idea. But anyway, that's the reason why I think guys don't do it. Guys don't do it because girls have said they don't like it. And also, I don't think girls actually want it. I think that they only want it from guys that they think are attractive. And this is something that they want from a conceptual viewpoint, but they don't want the reality of it. Because they used to have the reality of it, and collectively, most women said they didn't like it. So I wonder, do you really think that the people now are that much different than they were 15 years ago? Absolutely not. It's probably about, or 20 years ago, not really. No, it's probably about the same group of people. That's it. From 1 to 10, women seek 9s and 10s. If it's under that, men are invisible to women. Well, women say the same thing in general, right? I mean, like, obviously they do. So, yeah, it's that simple. Most of them I know from 20 years ago absolutely did not hate it. It was a very small vocal minority that hated it. I think that the problem is that a lot of men, that's not my experience personally, is that I think that a lot of women didn't like it because it didn't stop at asking them out. There was like other creepy behavior that would follow that. Like, following them home or asking them out multiple times or trying to like force interactions with them or something like that. And so in general, the idea is like, you cut it off at the beginning, and so it never evolves into that worst stage. That's the main issue. Yeah, those are no-nos. Yeah, exactly, right? It's 5% of women make 50% of men afraid of approaching. Most women have approached and rejected me. Don't tell me off. They just politely decline. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Someone get Asmongold to watch some home math on Twitter. I'm not going to watch, listen, I feel like my viewpoints on this are probably the most... I think these are the most balanced viewpoints to have. Like, I can see... Like, I mean, again, I can see both sides to this, right? I mean, there are some issues of it where, like, guys do feel insecure and other ones don't necessarily, right? Weird interactions like stealing salads. Yeah, but stealing... No. Stealing a salad is very different. So when a man approaches a woman and tries to, pursue her in a way that makes her uncomfortable, that's very different than a woman doing it to a man. And the reason why is because men are bigger, stronger, and faster than women. So there's this implied amount of physical, dominance that exists. And so, that's really the big difference. Like, you can't compare the two things. Like, it's like the old Chris Rock joke. Every guy has a funny story about a girl that's a crazy girlfriend. Why do no girls have stories about crazy boyfriends? Well, because they're dead. So, yeah, there's just an imbalance there. And that's the reason why. It's a totally different thing. Well, North Vietnamese, we have very traditional views. It's the culture there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the person, right? More than anything. As I said before, for a pretty friend, it was constant. Being approached 10 times a day. Not everyone taking kindly to the rejection. Even one punching her in the face. Yeah, exactly, right? And then it's also like guys that, because you also, again, the women that are saying, don't approach me, the guys are, that's a really great point that you're bringing up. Is that a lot of guys, whenever a girl says no, now a guy treats it like it's a debate, right? He's like, oh, why not? Like, well, what if I do this? What if I pay you? What if I do this or that? Do you have a boyfriend? Like, why not? And so he's trying to convince her. And so then you have another element of uncomfortability that happens. And so I think that's, yeah, well, I'll pay you. Well, no, I'm being serious. No, really? Yeah, just walk away after the no. Yeah, but a lot of guys don't do that. That's the issue. You could ask politely, though. I think that most women are probably not going to be put off by guys that are asking politely, even if they're weird-looking guys. But the problem is that you're throwing that is, if you have 10 interactions and one of them is bad, that one bad interaction will outweigh the 9 good ones. Because the interaction that is bad is so fucking bad that it makes people uncomfortable and they think about it for years. Yeah, it doesn't work at all. Yeah, and so that's really it. What the saying is matters a lot. Yeah. There's some weirdo people out there. Yeah, the bad one poisons the well. Yeah, I think so too. And women should just go back to pair bonding through knowing the same people. Yeah, we should go back to arranged marriages. I think that'd be a good idea. Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about getting a girlfriend, just, your parents can just set that up. You don't have to worry about this. You don't have to think about it at all. Yeah, we'll just go back to arranged marriages, and that way all of this, problem solving and thinking and everything like that, yeah, just bring those back. Everything's totally okay, all right? And honestly, not the worst. Yeah, I mean, hey, it solves some problems, doesn't it? Yeah, government-assigned girlfriends. Yeah, well, that's going to be whenever J.D. Vance becomes president. We're gonna get that. And so, yeah, government-mandated girlfriends. Yeah, more time for video games. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. It just kind of happens on its own.